Amazing. Thank you, Nadia, for the presentation, and many thanks to the previous speakers who shared. I would like to also congratulate the participants because we started with 100 or so participants, and now it's kind of like fourth, fifth left. So the people who stayed are already more motivated than 20% of those who left. So congrats. So give yourselves a pat on the shoulder because you're very serious about a career in China. So what I'm going to do, I'll be sharing my story with you, my China story, and hopefully through my sharing, you can get some tips and inspiration on how to create your own China story. I would like to say that everyone has a different experience when it comes to China. So you should never compare yourself to other people because they have different skills, different backgrounds, they speak different languages, they come from different countries. So there's no straight career path in life, career, and especially when it comes to China, your career path is going to be very, very crazy. So what I did, I've been in China for the past 4 years, but because of COVID, I had to move back home, now back in Cyprus, and I've been working remotely for 1.5 years. And COVID has really messed up the long-term plans that I had for my career and my life, but it's okay, you take it as it comes. So my background is in economics. That was my bachelor's in the UK. So I studied in the UK, and after graduating, I did something very, very crazy, which I wouldn't recommend to any of you. I went to China without any work experience. So as Shirley mentioned, I started as an English teacher. I did that for 1 year. Thankfully, I didn't stay too long in that path because I knew from the beginning that that was not my calling. So let me take it from there. So after graduating, which I believe that many of you guys here are graduating right now, I didn't have an idea of what I wanted to do, right? So, and that's okay. I decided to take a gap year after my university degree. And the plan was to stay in China for 1 year. I went to China with my best friend to teach English. You can see the lovely pictures from the school. And my plan after the gap year was to do something really, really smart, I thought. It was to do a master's at UCL. So I had an offer in a really good degree, which was a combination of coding and finance. So I would know how to build things, but at the same time, learn how to make money. So computational finance. But halfway through my first year in China, I realized that my calling wasn't so much in finance or coding. I tried to teach myself to code. That didn't go very well. And I also thought to myself, there are many Cypriots. Remember, I'm from Cyprus, a very small island in Europe. There are many Cypriots who have these kind of degrees from top universities, but there are not a lot of Cypriots who speak Chinese. So I decided not to do a master's and stay in China for 1 other year. And I did an intensive Chinese course at the UIB, which I highly recommend. So recap, 2012, 2015, I studied economics in the UK. Then in 2015, 2016, I moved to China to teach English. That was my gap year. And then in year 2, that was, I guess, my second gap year where I studied Chinese. And meanwhile, while studying Chinese, I felt confused, which I think is something that many of you guys feel now, especially with COVID, especially with China not opening up to foreigners, and you kind of like, okay, what I'm gonna do? What am I gonna study? Where am I gonna work? So it's very messed up, and that's okay, right? You should be okay with that because many people are in a similar situation. So halfway through my Chinese course in the Chinese university, I went to the careers office because that's what I used to do when I was in the UK. And they had a lot of resources. They had a lot of counselors, and there were many events, and they would help you a lot. But after going there, I realized there are no career offices in China at Chinese universities. And because of that, I felt even more confused. So what I did was, out of this confusion and out of this, let's say, frustration, 4 years ago, I realized that I had to do something about it. So I spoke to, 20, 30 friends of mine. And out of those 30 people, 2 people were interested, and we started doing events that focused on the career development of students. So these are some pictures from our first event back in 2017. It was about speed networking. So this was our way to kind of overcome this confusion when it came to work. We would meet with each other, we would have events, and we would, we started building a team that would help students develop their careers in China. So a lot of people were foreigners, we also had Chinese, but then goal was to help people make the transition from feeling confused to feeling purposeful and really finding their career path in China. So far we've hosted more than 100 events. We've done a lot of different programs in different universities, Beida, Tsinghua, UIB. We've worked with LinkedIn. We've organized big events, small events. We were featured by China Daily. We organized the leadership program. This is the career path that career program we did with LinkedIn. But still, China is still feel lost. So even after reaching 11,000 people and having so many speakers and doing so many events, there's still a lot of things that have to be done. So right now, we still focus on helping students develop their careers in China. And we do that through our WeChat communities, our platform online. And you can check us out more later when I share more. These are my best tips for China jobs. These are the things that I saw that worked for me, and I think it would work for most of you, but it will probably not work for everyone. So as mentioned, you have to create your own path, because China is a very unique and special place. It has its own. So one thing that I see foreigners not doing much is creating a profile, a job profile on Chinese job boards. So by doing this, you show to Chinese employers that, I speak Chinese, I'm very serious about a Chinese career in China. And this is also a way for you to, gain some, exposure. So Liepin, Jiapin, 51 Jobs, Boss, My, all of these job boards are, I would say, helpful, at least in the beginning when you try to find a job. You kind of get a better understanding of the landscape of the Chinese job market. I don't mention LinkedIn here because it's obvious that you have to have a LinkedIn profile. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, I highly encourage you to go and create one right now and send us the link in the chat box, and I will connect with you right away. So LinkedIn is a great way to, narrow down the filter. It's like a filter, LinkedIn. So it's both for employers, but also job candidates. So for you as a job candidate, LinkedIn is a great way to see which Chinese companies are kind of more international, to see which Chinese companies have a proper, branding in English, and whether they have English-speaking staff. If you don't speak, any Chinese, it's very challenging to find these jobs. But also LinkedIn is a great way to connect with these companies that are recruiting. Of course, it's still very, very challenging. That's why you need to work on your personal branding, which is then one of the next points that I will mention. So many of the speakers mentioned speaking Chinese. Speaking Chinese is an advantage, and that's a way to get your foot in the door when it comes to most jobs in China. If you don't speak any Chinese, then your chances of getting in China or working in China, living in China is very low. So I would highly encourage you. It doesn't matter whether you're now stuck back in your home country. I highly encourage you to learn or keep learning Mandarin Chinese. If you don't know any Chinese, then you're not serious about a career in China. You're not serious about working with China at all. And it's a really bad signal for employers. Having said that, even speaking Chinese, it's not going to be enough to be a successful career starter or young professional in China, but it's still an advantage. So how do you keep learning Chinese, or how do you learn Chinese? You can enroll in online classes. Online classes are they're not very engaging, but try to find a one-to-one class with a tutor. I would invest in a Chinese tutor who would help me keep learning Chinese even if I'm abroad. I would keep talking with my Chinese-speaking friends. If you don't have any Chinese-speaking friends, then I highly encourage you to download WeChat. So WeChat is the app that everyone uses in China. And through that, you can follow different types of communities, which we will see further on. And then these communities have their group chats. So that's a way to connect with Chinese-speaking people, foreigners or Chinese. Both is okay. So I watch Chinese movies. Netflix has Chinese movies, cartoons. Like, check them out. They're fun. You can change the language to Chinese, and you can add the Chinese subtitles or the English subtitles. It's up to you. and depending on your level of Chinese, you can listen to Chinese songs. Highly, highly recommended. I would recommend Wang Fang. Sorry if my pronunciation is really bad. He has some really good songs like Chuntian, Beijing, you know, so trying to find some Chinese songs that you like listening to and then just listen to them again and again and again and try to listen to, you know, learn some new words. Another thing, you should join communities. So in China, one thing that you have, like one advantage that you have is that you speak English, right? So English speakers in China, and especially in big cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, they're quite united. And I think through the work that we've been doing as BeHive, Startup Grind, and a lot of other communities like Global Shapers, then it's very easy to connect with trustworthy people, foreigners or Chinese people, like English-speaking Chinese, who are based in big cities in China. They are the ones that are going to help you open the doors to opportunities, like job opportunities in China. So I would highly recommend that you join as many communities as you can, volunteer, organize events, online, offline. That's a great way to start creating your guanxi, your connections. If you have no connections in China, then it's going to be very, very challenging to find a job or do anything in China. So highly recommend you to check out Startup Grind, BeHive, Life Skills for Me, Scholar, and many other communities that are not here. Also engaging with the China admissions team and getting to know their friends is very, very important. So some of the opportunities that we provide through BeHive includes like full scholarships for MBA programs, classes, and content that is focused on China professionals. So people who want to work or study in China. So we work with the United Nations, we work with SEEPs, we work with some of the best organizations in China that can help you either get a job or, you know, upskill yourself. Also, you can also volunteer for BeHive and be a BeHive ambassador, and that's also another way to gain some China experience. If you would like to join our beta platform, so this is our website, you can scan this QR code, and I'll be sharing the link for our website in the description in a bit. So you can join our beta platform to get to know opportunities in China and get to know more about, you know, the opportunities that China has to offer for foreigners. So educational opportunities, scholarships, and job opportunities and events. Another thing that you should be doing all the time is connect and network all the time with your China network. If you don't have a China network, start building it yesterday. And you can do that through WeChat, LinkedIn, video calls, and engage with these Chinese companies, organizations that you're interested in. So let's say today we had Jonathan, who works at ByteDance, and ByteDance is one of the biggest employer for foreigners in China. So you should add Jonathan and see whether Jonathan can help you. But before doing that, you have to think, what can you offer to Jonathan? What can you offer to ByteDance? And before we go to that, you should keep in mind all of the things that are connected to China in your home country. So the Confucius Institute, the biggest nonprofit for teaching Chinese across the world, you know, big Chinese companies, Huawei, Xiaomi, ByteDance, you have to be connected with them, have contacts with them. If you have none, just try to, so knowing an intern at TikTok is better than knowing no one at TikTok. So just get to know as many interns as you can. The Chinese embassies in your home country, that's also a great way for you to connect with China. So volunteer, help them as much as you can. And that would be a great boost when you try to come to China, when you try to apply for your visa. If you know the people at the Chinese embassy, then that's a great way to kind of smoothen your visa applications. But at the same time, you're based in China, then try and see, okay, what can I do to support the Cypriot embassy, the Greek embassy, the Nigerian embassy, or the American embassy, depending on where you're from. Try to provide value to the people that you can. So how can you provide value? So again, before you connect with any of the speakers here, Shirley, Jack, Jonathan, before you connect with anyone, think about what you have to offer, right? So think about what makes you unique. So as we mentioned in the group chat, you are, as a foreign applicant, as a non-Chinese job seeker, you cannot compete with the Chinese directly. You cannot compete at language. You cannot compete at the level of cultural understanding. You cannot compete with your guanxi, your connections with the government or whatever. but you can compete on other things, right? So you should focus on what makes you unique and different. And you need to start building your personal brand today. WeChat and LinkedIn are great places to start and focus on. For example, I speak Greek. That's what's unique about me. My nationality, I'm Cypriot. Maybe there are some companies that want to work with China, with Cyprus, some Chinese companies that want to work with Cyprus. So what are your skills? Like, can you teach? Can you build code? Can you present? Can you, I don't know, are you a good graphic designer? So really try to reflect and see what makes you different, what makes you unique, what kind of unique experience do you have? Do you have any, experience in some of your country's biggest companies? What kind of connections do you have? So think about that and offer it slowly to the employers. As a job applicant, if I was looking for a job, I wouldn't put my CV anywhere. I would first develop the connections, the relationships with a specific company. And then when I see that, okay, this is a job position that is suitable for me, or maybe this is something that, this job was made for me. When I see that, I'm going to be like, okay, I might be sending my CV there, but don't offer these too soon, let them wait, let them, work for it. So I would like to wish good luck with all of the job applicants here. If you would like to connect with me here, then here are my WeChat, my LinkedIn profiles, the BeHive Go websites. And Nadia, if we don't have any questions, I took some of the questions that you shared with me yesterday, so I can answer those first in case we don't have any, but I can briefly comment on them. How does that sound?
So
Kaima?
actually
Yes.
the time is up, but I think we can open for like one question if you'd like to.
Sure, let's see if anyone has any questions.
I think one interesting question is, so there was a question asking about what will be like a beneficial skills that applicants have to have, in exception to like having a good language skills like Chinese or English or other qualifications. So what are the things that they can learn? And
Well, it's the
then
skills that make you unique.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's the skills that give you a niche. It's the skills that separate you from the crowd. Maybe you speak a separate language. Maybe you can do WeChat marketing, or maybe you're a great graphic designer. So think about what is your niche, what is your specialty. So finding a job in China or elsewhere, it's all about separating yourself from everyone else. And this is the same in China as well. But of course, your network is your net worth. So before you apply for jobs, you also have to start developing your network. So I would say that you have to be building your skills and developing your network at the same time and gain as much experience as possible. Of course, it makes sense that if you have internship experience at a few companies, then that's how you start your China journey, right? So that those are the companies that are most likely to give you a full-time opportunity in the future. So I know time's up. If you have any more questions, feel free to connect with me on WeChat, LinkedIn. This is my handle. I would like to wish good luck to everyone. Keep up the good work, China Admissions. And thank you for having me.
Thank you, Petros.